Yashkuk Sar is a 6,667 meter peak. I had known I'd wanted to climb in the Pakistani Karakoram for a long time. That had kind of always been my ultimate dream. The approach involved about 2 days of driving. It's probably the craziest paved road on earth. We followed that all the way north, almost to the Chinese border, so it's kind of the meeting point of 3 of the Great Ranges of Asia. We then turned west up a dirt road. From the end of the dirt road, it was about 2 days of walking at a pretty slow pace. On our way in, everybody wanted to say hi, shake our hands, take photos, chat with us.
Yeah.
And then that brought us to our base camp, which was at about 14,000 feet. The first month we were in the valley was essentially acclimatizing.
Nice, dude.
Hanging out with the local people was absolutely incredible. It feels like a much older culture in so many ways. Like, the people grow all their own food right there.
Well, got a whole herd of yaks wandering into base camp here. Oh, hey there, Mr. Yak.
We concluded our acclimatization by climbing Yashkuk Sar, and it had been climbed once, but it was a 6,200 meter peak.
And there's our main objective, Yashkuk Sar. Looking pretty inspiring.
We did see way more avalanches than I've ever seen. But our route where we were planning to climb seemed completely safe.
Alrighty, where are we at?
We're at the base of Yashkuk Sar.
Yeah, it's pretty neat. We got a weather window finally.
Initially, the climbing was pretty easy up this big icy gully that split this huge rock wall. And so we could kind of follow that up to where it got real steep and then start traversing left, more moderate terrain. We followed that for a few more pitches. And then as it was getting toward evening, we started to look for a bivvy.
Time to make the bivvy.
Wasn't really a good bivvy at all and required tons and tons of chopping and the first deployment of our ice hammock. Day 2 started with what's probably gonna start sounding like the theme of the trip, huge avalanche at sunrise.
It's an exciting alarm clock.
And then we kept going up pretty moderate terrain.
Lauren want to go to second base with me?
And that brought us out to this wild, wild snow mushroom ridge.
There's a crazy Mondo snow mushroom up there. We're at about 19,400 feet, 4,200 feet up the route.
We were able to stomp one of the mushrooms flat and get the tent up on that.
Pretty crazy.
Probably the coolest bivvy of our lives. We were feeling really good.
Touch nicer than last night's.
Touch nicer and a touch wilder.
Yeah.
We got into bed, and then about 10 minutes later, we heard another avalanche. And we saw, to our horror, that the avalanche was going directly down this ice gully that split the upper head wall that was exactly where we were planning to climb. As good as everything had looked a few minutes ago, we're probably gonna have to bail. But then finally, I pieced together some features. After a bunch of discussion, we settled on trying this new idea and seeing what would happen. We followed this snowy icerette up to the head wall and a bunch of small debris, no big avalanches, but just kind of steady shedding. Eventually, we had to cross the gully, but then we were out of that and clear and on the head wall. Day 4, we were up before dawn. We were real excited. We knew we were close. Cody let us off. He climbed a couple pretty tricky mixed pitches.
Nice, dude.
And brought us finally into sunlight for the first time in a little while. At that point, it was evening again. On this summit plateau, set the tent up, dived in as quick as we could. Ended up having a pretty rough night. No matter what we did, snow was blowing in the tent.
Just woke up from our night on the summit plateau to this. Never gotten this snowy inside of a tent before.
Not the best, but we were only maybe a 15 walk from the summit.
Here they come! Somebody Yashkuk Sar!
We had a magical moment up there.
Pretty easily the craziest place I've ever been. Yeehaw!
Then the descent kind of just flew by. We had to traverse over to cross the ridge, but then we were just rappelling off ice again to get down.
Off the mountain! Boom! Yeah, dog!
Before the sun had set, we were safe and sound on the rocky, dry glacier. Made our way down the valley and back to base camp, and then we were greeted by just the most exuberant, welcoming party from our cooks and our liaison officer.
We got a cake! Chukuria! Thank you!
They'd made us these little flower garlands from stuff they'd found around base camp. We all danced that night and just had an incredible return.